You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
It's Oh Behave with Arden Moore, the show that teaches you how to have harmony in the household with your pets. Join Arden as she travels coast to coast to help millions better understand why cats and dogs do what they do. Get the latest scoop on famous faces, their perfectly pampered pets, and who's walking who in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails. Garner great pet tips and have a doggone fur-flying fun time. So get ready for the pause and applause as we unleash your Oh Behave host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Listeners, it's time to rev your engine for a great episode. That's because our two special guests know how to steer in the right direction when it comes to the race to help animals in need. Let's give pause and applause to veteran NASCAR driver Greg Biffle and his equally talented wife, Nicole, who is president of Friends of the Animals. And together, they are the founders of the Greg Biffle Foundation that helps animals all over the country. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
All right. Even synchronized, harmonized. Awesome.
That's right.
That's good. Now, right now, Greg is guiding his number 16 3M4 in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series for Roush Racing Team. And off the track, you and Nicole are founders of the Greg Biffle Foundation. And you also are proud parents of an amazing daughter I'm hearing about, young Emma. And you got a couple of dogs, Gracie and Savannah. So you've got a full pack there, you two.
Yeah, we certainly do. It's a lot of fun, and we used to have 3, and we recently lost our longtime, I call him the founder of the Greg Biffle Foundation, because really he was the inspiration to starting the foundation to help animals, was Foster. So fortunately we lost him a little while back. He lived 13 years, so he had a great life, but we really enjoy helping animals. And you know, it's something that we were able to start in 2005, and we created this NASCAR pet calendar, and it took off like wildfire. We've sold more pet calendars every year than we have the previous year. It's been a lot of fun, and we've gotten involved with lots of different organizations along the way.
Well, we're going to find out more about what Greg and Nicole are doing. We've got to pay for the show first. So I'm going to ask all you listeners to get into the park position, and we're going to take this commercial break. All right, everybody sit, stay good, listeners. We'll be right back.
Time for a pause. 4 furry ones, actually. Sit and stay. Oh Behave will be right back.
Pet Life Radio, the #1 pet radio network on the planet, joins forces with iHeartRadio to put the power of your pets in your pocket. Awesome! Download the iHeartRadio app and rock Pet Life Radio on your phone, on your tablet, on your Xbox, in your car. Pet talk, pet tunes, and fun pet times. Pet Life Radio and iHeartRadio. Positively Possum.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com. Oh Behave is back with more tail-wagging ways to achieve harmony in the household with your pets. Now, back to your fetching host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome back to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. I am so happy that we have the husband-wife duo of Greg and Nicole Biffle, and so apparently is my dog, Chipper. Can you hear her in the background? Chipper is a husky golden retriever going, "Where is my racing helmet? I want to go racing with Greg." All right. Now, you guys know Greg. He's a veteran NASCAR driver, and he exploded into the racing scene. In 98, he got Rookie of the Year honors for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And then in 01, he just took the Busch Series Rookie of the Year honors. That's pretty awesome, Greg. And I have to confess to you, in my previous life, I was an assistant sports editor at the Fort Lauderdale Sun-Sentinel when Homestead opened up. So I was in charge of auto racing. So I admire, and I knew you back then, and I thought, this dude knows how to steer. But you do have the season this year. It's kind of heading to the finishing line. And so I really do, pardon the pun, thank you for making a pit stop on our show. And I really, really thank you both for what you're doing for pets. You're kind of waving the checkered flag for pets. So I just want to backtrack a little bit. Let's go back to '05, I guess, when you guys started the Greg Biffle Foundation. And folks, after the show, I want you to dash over to gregbifflefoundation.com. You're going to find a lot more information on what they do for pets all over the planet. But is this right? I'm doing my research. You have awarded grants to more than 500 humane societies and animal shelters all over America?
We have, and it's hard to narrow it down. We get so many applications every year. There's so many shelters and groups and just animals all over the country that just need a ton of help. So, we do what we can. We'd like to do more, but, we feel fortunate that we are able to help.
Now, how did you guys get motivated to create this foundation for pets? I mean, you guys have been married, you said 7 years, and been, sweethearts for longer than that. Did you guys meet due to pets, your love of pets, or how did that happen? And what made you both say, we got to do something. We got to help pets?
It was, I surprised Nicole one day. We both grew up with pets our whole life. So, we're used to having dogs and cats. And I brought home little furball Foster when he was 6 weeks old. And we went for a long time without a pet because, we didn't have a fenced yard. We didn't have a good area. We traveled a lot. And then we got a motorhome that we stay in at the racetrack. And so it afforded us the opportunity to take him with us. So, I got a dog, Foster, and he became part of the family. And, we saw these cruelty cases and we saw these horrible things that, you start paying more attention once you, kind of back into the swing of things. And so we really felt like puppy mills and all these horrible things that go on, we really felt like, and all the drivers were starting foundations or had foundations or causes. And we helped the petties with the Victory Junction Gang Camp and still do, and other people had children charities, cancer charities, things like that. And then really the animal world was a little bit of a void in the NASCAR community, and that's how our passion said, hey, let's do something for animals. These guys do a lot for kids. These guys do things for which we all care about, all these different foundations, but we wanted to focus on animals. And so that's how it started, and we had some friends in the business and the sport that helped us get the ideas going, and that's really how it started. It was our passion for animals and wanting to make a difference in the well-being of animals.
Anything else you'd like to add, Nicole, to this? I mean, he brought home a puppy.
Yeah, it really was. Foster was definitely the inspiration for everything that we've done to help animals because, like Greg said, he became part of the family. And, I mean, quite literally, he became a child, to us. Thanks to Foster, we did get a motorhome so he could come with us. And, thanks to Foster, we got an airplane so he could fly with us, But a funny story, too, Foster and Gracie actually got me into a race one weekend. I went late. Didn't go with Greg, which was unusual, but the dogs and I flew up afterwards, and I'd forgotten my credential to get into the gate, and the lady just was not going to budge and let me do it. And she said, well, who's in the car with you? She stuck her head and she goes, oh, well, there's Foster and Gracie. She whipped out 2 treats. She said, I've been waiting for them all weekend. Okay, go ahead. And I was like, oh, my goodness. So our dogs are kind of known in the NASCAR world. So like Greg said, just to expand, we're seeing things that just, you pay attention to things like that, but you just kind of turn your head and, oh, that's so sad. We really wanted to do something because, I mean, just the love of an animal is amazing, and they have so much to offer, and there's just so many of them out there that just need help desperately, and so we just do what we can do. You always want to do more, that's for sure.
Well, you're getting close to your 10-year anniversary of starting this foundation. One of the things that really impressed me is every year, for at least the last 7 years, you've come out with a NASCAR pet calendar and you raise money. So I know we can all go to the Greg Biffle Foundation site, but I got you guys here. So can you tell me a little bit about the calendars? I mean, we're talking Dale Earnhardt Jr., Danica Patrick, Kyle Busch, Greg Biffle. Nice. So what's going on with NASCAR and pets in this calendar? Let's start with Nicole this time, and then we'll have you pop in, Greg.
Sure.
When we started the foundation, it was based because of the calendar. We, like I said, we had tried to think of something we could do, and I mean, I came up with the idea for a calendar, and I thought, hey, let's just do a spiral-bound one. We'll just sell them out of the haulers or whatever. But we got lucky with the NASCAR Foundation. They really helped us pull it together. But we really wanted to do like a family setting, not the drivers in their uniforms. It's not sponsor related. It's drivers and their kids and their pets because pets are family. So it's just a very casual calendar with you get to see inside the drivers' lives. And so it's just been really successful because people really, really get into seeing how drivers are off the track and their families and what they're interested in. And so it's just fun to do it every year. And you get new puppies and new kids and all kinds of stuff in the calendars every year. So
all right,
I
got to ask, which NASCAR driver has the most unusual pet or the largest dog for this year's calendar?
This year we don't really have anything too unusual. However, that being said, we've had donkeys and stuff in there before, which...
Donkeys?
Yeah.
David Reagan had a donkey and a goat, and we've had some other unusual pets, but it's really Tony Stewart had a monkey. So, there's been a lot of different pets, and I think that, the support came from NASCAR fans want to relate to the athletes, the star, their driver, or whatever, and it's like that with any sport. So, you'd rarely have the opportunity to see behind the scenes, and this was sort of a behind the scenes. It's maybe they're on vacation, and people gave great photos for the calendar for the family and the pets. So it gave the avid NASCAR fans an opportunity to have something memorabilia they could get signed by the driver and keep, and so the calendar's done very, very well. And, we're looking at other ideas also that's sort of our mainstay, and we do some events throughout the year to raise money. And was kind of doing short math, and I'm sure we've, without knowing exactly, I'm sure we've donated out over $1 million since we started the foundation and doing the calendar. So it's been a big thing for us, and we're very passionate about it, and, want to continue to help animals and help organizations. A lot of these organizations are all volunteers.
Right, they are.
And so a little bit of money goes a long ways when you're talking about gas money or some food or other supplies. So we're able to donate a little bit of money to a lot of organizations that can make a real difference.
Now, these calendars are, like $13.99, is that correct?
Yeah, $13.99 for the calendar. And we have calendars from previous years, and a lot of times we'll do a special where you can get a 15 and a 14 calendar together, or sometimes we do packs of, hey, we have some 12 and 13s left over. So people want to see the pictures. Even though the calendar's not good anymore, they can get that picture and have a good time with, having something throughout the years, or collect the whole set. So to speak.
Right. I think it's special as a driver if you saw somebody bring the calendar rather than just the program from the race day. Don't the drivers kind of feel like that the person bringing the fan, is a little more invested in both pets and that driver to get
absolutely.
An autograph?
It's exactly. And the fans want to have something they can keep forever, and this is definitely something they can do that with.
And as a former sports writer, I have to say, I think that the NASCAR drivers are among the most pleasant, polite, and recognize loyalty among their fans. I mean, you guys don't cross that finishing line, you don't get paid. You could be in other sports like baseball or basketball, and you could sit on the bench and make what a school teacher makes all year in one game. So I know you guys got to earn to make it. So talk a little bit about that, because you've been in the race world a long time, and, if you don't finish, you don't get a paycheck.
Yeah, that's, certainly right. And our sport's a lot different than football and baseball and basketball because we do have sponsors. And we do feel a connection to our fans because our fans are the reason why we're here and the reason why we have a job. And so we recognize that as an organization. And I just think that, and for some reason the stats show that NASCAR fans are super loyal to the brands and the products that support their sport they're passionate about. That's important to us. And, when you talk about a football team or baseball team, a particular player, doesn't have a stake in it when it comes to ethics or signing autographs or something else because he's, shielded by a team, I guess, so to speak. So when I have a company I'm representing like 3M, Coca-Cola, Ford, we want to be ambassadors of our sport and of those products and brands. And I think that's why over the years drivers have been so colorful and so easy accessible and things like that because we want to be a household name. We want to be somebody a company wants to be associated with because essentially that's how we end up with a job is them paying, to have their name on the car or uniform or whatever else. So it's an important financial thing for us to have that connection, and all these things make a difference.
All right. Hey, folks, we're speaking with Greg and Nicole Biffle, and they have co-founded the Greg Biffle Foundation. It is a great foundation for pets. I want you to go to gregbifflefoundation.com after the show. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about life in NASCAR with Greg and Nicole, and then some of the things that they do in the pet world. So everybody just sit and stay. We'll be right back.
Time for a walk on the red carpet, of course. Oh, Behave will be back in a flash right after these messages.
Hi, this is Tim Link, animal communicator and pet expert and host of Animal Rights on Pet Life Radio. Have you ever wanted to know what your pet is really thinking? Do you want to find out if they truly understand what you're trying to tell them? Ever wish you could build a better understanding and closer relationship with your pet? Well, now you can. Learning to communicate with animals is a 4-part on-demand workshop. In the workshop, you'll learn the essential techniques that are necessary to communicate with animals, including what is animal communication, breathing correctly to achieve the perfect state to communicate with your animals at a deeper level, using guided meditation exercises and method to communicate with animals, and how to send and receive information from your animals. So if you're wanting to learn how to communicate and connect with your animals at a deeper level, visit petliferadio.com/workshop and purchase and download Learning to Communicate with Animals. You'll be glad you did.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Holy hound dog! Hi, this is Bert Ward, and you're listening to the O Behave Show with Arden Moore on Pet Life Radio. Listen every week, same pet time, same pet channel.
We're back from the lot. Just checked the paper and we had a record showing at the box. The letterbox, that is. Now back to Oh Behave. Here's Arden.
Welcome back to the O Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. I feel the need for speed, Greg, but I'm sitting here in the park position behind a microphone. I mean, what's the fastest you've ever been clocked at?
Well, I think the fastest I've ever been, is in a race car anyway, is about 230 miles an hour, 228 miles an hour in Michigan is the fastest racetrack we go to.
And when the police aren't around, what's the fastest you've been? Maybe as a kid, maybe you were testing your mettle.
Yeah. Thank goodness I never got a ticket for going too awful fast growing up, but I loved cars and motorcycles and competition at an early age, and I started racing oval track when I was 15, 16 years old. So I have a passion for racing and cars.
And Nicole, have you ever gotten a speeding ticket?
Unfortunately, I've gotten 2. Yes.
Okay.
I never got any until I moved to North Carolina, and I guess
that's
us NASCAR folks.
Oh, yeah. And what's the fastest you've ever been behind the wheel?
Oh, goodness. Well, as a passenger with Greg, I've probably really been up there, but myself, no, I don't go that fast.
All right. Now, is he just follows the speed limit in your family car? I mean, I just wonder, don't you feel like you're chomping at the bit, Greg, when you're in a regular car in traffic versus when you're on the track? I mean, how do you make that mindset change? You're with Emma.
Yeah, I mean, not really. Yeah, not really. I'm more of an efficient driver, if you will. So I'm not necessarily the guy that's going, weaving in and out of traffic, which isn't safe, and trying to go faster than all the other cars. So, but when I'm behind the wheel, it's my job, so to speak. I'm paying attention. I'm looking, it's just my sensory system's wired different probably than everybody else. Everybody else is daydreaming about what they're going to have for dinner or listening to the radio, and I'm paying attention to what's going on in front of me, behind me, beside me, and what lane I'm turning right in, and the lights getting ready, the other lights getting ready to turn yellow or green or whatever. I'm paying attention. I'm getting there as soon as I can, and I'm ready. When I get to the intersection, I know what I'm already doing. And I hate traffic. That's one of my worst pet peeves in the world is, we all hate sitting in traffic, wasting our time, so to speak. And unfortunately, that happens. But for the most part, I drive the speed limit, and I'm just used to being on the button all the time and not wasting any time while I'm driving. That's more probably it than driving fast.
I wish we could clone you. Can you imagine how the highways would be if we actually had people doing what they're supposed to do, which is drive, not text, put makeup on, or eat something that's like one of those burgers that's so huge that you dribble all over yourself? I'm amazed when I look over at drivers next to me and I'm like, seriously, are you an octopus? Do you have 8 arms? How are you doing all that you're doing?
Yeah. I mean, probably the worst thing in the world for me is the old classic making a right-hand turn at a red light, or vice versa, making a left. It's like people's sensory system is wired much slower than mine. So I can see how far away a car is and know, okay, I'm going. I have plenty of time. Now is the time. And you're sitting behind them, second in line, and you're like looking way down there, and they're like, well, I see that car way down there, but I wonder if this guy is going to go. And so he waits and waits and waits till he decides, well, I think I do have enough time. So he goes, and then there's not enough time for you to go.
Right.
If he would have went, when you both looked down there a few minutes ago, there would have been enough time. So it's kind of like, in my eyes, I'm looking at it going, well, this guy's just waiting for long enough so I can't make it. But people have to be safe, and they don't think about cars like I do, and they're not used to all the moving parts and pieces. So that's what it's like.
Yeah, they don't know how to paw it forward, What about your daughter, Emma? Now, at the beginning, before we came on the air, Nicole said she's pretty into driving, flying. What's going on with your 3-year-old, Nicole?
She's very interested in the flying and the helicopters. She gets really excited seeing helicopters or riding in helicopters. When I left her up with her daddy up at the shop, she was sitting on a 4-wheeler, acting like she was going to drive it. She actually has her own little car she drives around in. She does really, really well. So she's going to be good at whatever she does for sure. Mommy just hopes that maybe we decide not to do the racing career.
How is she with pets, like with your 2 dogs right now, with Gracie and Savannah?
She's really, really good with them. It's funny, before she was born, Foster was very attentive to me, and he knew what was going on, I think, and when she was born, he never left her side. Anywhere she and I would go, he always followed. So he was kind
sweet.
of her, and when she was a baby, Savannah, it was funny, wouldn't have anything to do with her. When she started crawling, she'd run in the other room, run away from her, but now they're the best of friends. And Gracie is just so sweet with her, and they play, and Emma throws the balls and their toys. And, poor Greg is surrounded by a house of women now. It's 2 girls in the dog world, and then Emma and I, so he's outnumbered for sure.
How do you handle that, Greg? You doing all right?
No, yeah, I'm doing good. Certainly I miss Foster. He's only been gone a month, and he never missed one of Emma's naps, laying outside of her door upstairs and put her to bed every single night, so it's tough to the household around here without him. But, the other dogs, Savannah really, really likes Emma now, and they play well together, so.
Savannah's the
mix.
Canine cocktail. We don't know who your mama, who your daddy dog, right? So what are your best guesses? What do you guess that Savannah has a bit of?
When I got the email, and of course I get them all the time of animals needing homes, her initial first look to me was a boxer, and they said she was a boxer mix. But when we got her, she came from Georgia. When we got her, she has a little bit of maybe some German Shepherd, it seems like, in her a little bit, but she's small, so it's really, really hard to tell. It's hard to tell, but she's just the sweetest dog ever. She's a great, great dog, and we are so thankful that we were able to save her.
I salute you both for doing that. But you guys, you've got this arrangement on occasion. You do puppy transports from your area in North Carolina up to North Shore League in New York. Tell us a little bit about that, because you guys have been doing that for a while.
Yeah, we have. Every month we work with local rescue groups, and they take puppies that would otherwise be euthanized and get them through their shots and make sure they're healthy. And then we all meet here once a month, and we send 40 puppies up there to be adopted. Like I said, otherwise they would just be put to sleep here. And we're really lucky to have that working relationship with the North Shore Animal League. We also do things like that just on our own. If we're going to a race, say in New Hampshire, we will sometimes take a dog or 2 with us to a rescue up north. So, yeah, there's a boxer rescue that we've worked with in Pennsylvania, goodness, for many, many years, and they are phenomenal about keeping us updated and informed with the dogs that we bring. So it's really nice to be able to see these dogs, you know, in a situation where they wouldn't have survived here. We're able to take them and then, you know, get stories and pictures and updates and of how well they're doing and how they're thriving in their new homes. So, I mean, it's very gratifying. And, I mean, I can speak for both Greg and I. I think we are very lucky that we're able to help out in that way because, you know, we've saved quite a few animals' lives just by going in the direction we were already going, and we just kind of like picking up little hitchhikers. We just take them with us.
When you have a motorhome like that, you could pack in some pups there for sure, and that's kind of cool. I also was impressed, though, that you're trying to educate a new generation, and on the GregBiffleFoundation.com site, you guys have a Kids Corner. And Greg, talk a little bit about this Pennies for Pets program that you have for kids.
You know, we have piggy banks around some of the different stores and some of our different partners. And, you know, kids want to get involved in donating their time, and they care about they have pets at home. And it's very important to educate our young generation how important it is to respect animals and to care for them like they need to be. And so that makes it easier later on. It's hard to retrain somebody when they're 40 years old on how they should be taking care of a pet. So we're working on trying to educate young people on the importance of it. And so then it's built-in DNA. And we can get a handle on the overpopulation and get people to spay and neuter their pets, because that's the most important thing. That's really the most important thing we're here talking about is overpopulation and people not having their pets spayed and neutered. And that's how we come up with 90% of the pets that are unwanted or don't have a good home, is because we're trying to give them away, and we're trying to get rid of these pets that were unexpected, so to speak. And that's I'm very, very passionate about the spay and neuter part of it. And I'll have to admit, I was slow at getting Foster, fixed just because I was slow to do it. We need to educate people on the importance and the health of them and how important it is.
You're part of the Humane Society of the United States. You guys have been part of that Spay Day USA for a number of years, and that's a great program. I think it's really getting the word out.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited to be part of that. Anything I can do to support that, because I don't remember all the stats today, but one unspayed cat can have up to, 2 million kittens in 7 years or something, as the reproduction occurs. So it's staggering what one animal that goes unspayed or neutered can, reproduce. So it's very important.
And that cat can have more than one male suitor, or same with the dog, which is why the puppies or the kitten litter can look like a whole medley. They're kind of hussies when they're in heat.
Yeah.
Can I say that on the radio? Oh, I just did. No, but you've done a lot with the spay and neuter, the puppy transports, you have the grant programs, you have the kids section, and the calendars too. So what's up next coming up for you guys as far as upcoming races with NASCAR? What's sort of your goal for this year or next year, Greg?
Well, we're in the middle of our playoffs, and unfortunately, we haven't been fast enough all season. We made the playoffs, but got eliminated fairly early in the first segment of it. We're in the rebuilding time. We have 7 races left till the end of the season. Certainly, we want to finish up in the top 10 in the sport, and it looks like we're going to be certainly capable of that, which is very important. That's a huge achievement.
Oh, it is.
We're going to Kansas this weekend, and then we race here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then on to Talladega, Martinsville, Texas, Phoenix, Homestead, and then we're finished for the year. So
yeah, Homestead's the final one. What do you think of the Homestead track? I remember when it first opened.
That's one of my favorite places. I won there 3 years in a row. It's a fun, great racetrack to race on. And the other thing about Homestead is the season's over. So
yeah.
Everybody loves that. Everybody loves that race because they're looking for a week off. It's tough when you race 38 weeks a year.
Oh, yeah.
And you have 2 weeks a year off within that 38, so it gets to be a long season. So we're all looking forward to that first week off.
Any difference, because at Homestead you were doing the truck series too, in driving the trucks versus number 16 now?
There's not a lot of difference between the truck series and the Nationwide and the Sprint Cup. They all use the same basic chassis, suspension, brakes, tires, wheels, engines, drivetrain is all real similar. The car, if you will, almost like a model car, just has a different body on it. So it appeals to a different crowd. They drive a little bit different. So that type of vehicle that I raced years ago was a lot of fun, and it's a great series. It's a great stepping stone, if you will. It's the minor league
right.
For guys to get an opportunity in NASCAR.
All right. So who, besides yourselves, because you guys are awesome, who are a couple of folks in the NASCAR world that you would like to salute that are doing good things for pets? We'll start with you, Nicole. Who's somebody that you feel like is really getting the need to help pets?
You know, Ryan and Chrissy Newman have done an awesome job with helping pets. I think they're very well known, but somebody very less known would be Tad and Jody Geschichter. They're team owners. The Almendinger drives for them, and she is just hands-on all the time. She is a phenomenal advocate for animals and just very kind of back in the shadows, not in the spotlight with it, but I mean, she's really done a lot. She coordinates a lot of transports, and she's the person that will knock on your door and just say, hey, I noticed that you have 5 dogs. Do you need any extra food? You know, she's just a really good person and a great advocate for animals. So I think the lesser known would be Tad and Jody. I mean, we all know that Ryan and Chrissy are right in there too. So, you know, there's a lot of people that care about animals, and they're willing to help anytime transports are needed.
Well, that's well said. Greg, do you have anybody you want to give a shout out to that's helping out?
You know, there's lots of people that certainly care about animals, and there's lots of folks that are generous with their time. You know, I like to recognize all the people that are in our calendar. You know, They take the time out of their schedule to gather the family and pets and let a photographer come to their house, and we all have busy lives. And so, you know, Dale Jr., Matt and Katie, Kenseth, and all of the people, Tony Stewart, all the people that take their time and provide the photos for the calendar is certainly greatly appreciated.
Well, I salute both you, Greg and Nicole. We're talking to Greg and Nicole Biffle. They have the Greg Biffle Foundation. Guys, check it out. Get a calendar. What a great holiday gift idea for all your pet pals. It's $13.99 and it's going to many great causes. And you're going to see what, like, you know, Dale Earnhardt Jr. looks like hanging out without a whole bunch of billboards on his outfit, right? You guys, you must feel really cool when you can wear a regular shirt without any logos on it once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. So my favorite attire is jeans and a T-shirt. That's that or a hooded sweatshirt when the winter time. So my favorite times of the year.
There you go. At this time, I want to thank you both for being guests on our show, and I also want to thank Mark Winter. He's our producer of the Pet Life Radio Network. We have over 6 million listeners worldwide on all our shows, and we do want you to reach out to the Greg Biffle Foundation. Well, Greg, Nicole, thank you very much for being our special guest today. You really are driving home the point of how we can do things big and small to make this a better planet for pets, and I thank you both for doing what you're doing.
Well, I thank you for
your time.
All right. You guys are awesome. And Emma, you're going to grow up to be quite a pet lover. I love that. You're already doing that well with her. And shout out to Savannah and Gracie. Arden, the treat lady, says you get treats from Greg and Nicole after the show. They promised it, right? Right, guys?
Right.
All right.
That's right.
So,
they're waiting.
They are. So until next time, this is your flea-free host, Arden Moore, delivering just 2 words to all you 2, 3, and 4-leggers out there. Oh, behave.
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do, and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. Oh Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.